All right, folks, we are live. We're live. I'm still dealing with a bit of COVID. Caught it at the end of last week, but we are here. I wasn't missing this, at least to talk about Summerslam with my right hand man here, because what a fantastic weekend and pay per view it was, top to bottom. Of course, this is episode 34, folks, of the Pop Up Powerbomb, hosted by yours truly. And of course, my partner in crime, the cerebral one himself, Paul. And how you been, brother? And did you enjoy the weekend festivities?
Yeah, I did. I really did. I thought it was very well done. I enjoyed it quite a bit. So, yeah, and can't wait to talk about it a bit and all that stuff. So,
Yes, yes,
been
indeed.
pretty chill. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. It was man, it was good just to kick back. Even man, I enjoyed it even as sick as I was. I sat up in the bed and watched it, and yeah, there wasn't a dull moment. Let's just put it that way, folks. So we're gonna get right into it straight away, of course. So plenty of twists, plenty of turns, of course, throughout the night. But we'll start with the first matchup of the evening that I think both Paul and myself kind of both probably predicted what was going to happen and could see this. Liv Morgan taking on Rhea Ripley, and of course retaining her title against the dominant Ripley. Man, there was some. It was a fantastic match. We we of course seen Dom turn on Rhea at the end, which I think we kind of could see. Plays
Well,
obviously.
we knew something was coming, but I don't know if we actually expected that. I mean,
No, but I mean, we I think we knew it. I mean, it kind of plays into the whole Dirty Dom
right.
name, and he's trying to. I seen a lot of comments. Oh, he's living up to the daddy he should have had and lie, cheat, and steal.
Yeah.
um, but there was some spots in that match that I thought was just crazy from um, storytelling and showmanship point of view, where um, I found out later. Initially, I thought it happened legitimately, and I found out later no, they were actually spots that Rhea and Triple H came. But when she got through first into that turnbuckle, and I was looking at her shoulder, I thought, damn, her shoulder's out. And she's telling the ref and screaming at her. It looked to me, I don't know how they managed to make it look that way, but it looked like it had popped out, right?
Well,
Um,
because if she sloops down on one side, she can make it look dislocated.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So she did a good job at that because she had me convinced. I'm like, she looks like she's in actual serious, legitimate pain. That looks bad. And then what made it even make me think more so is how hard she slammed herself into the commentary table,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. It's
She's
like,
looking at
ow.
Liv and she's like, gave her that look like, I'm gonna fuck you. And she's just
Yeah.
bam! I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, good lord. And then she's like done that thing with her arm. Oh, and the commentator's, oh my god, she just put her arm. And I'm sitting there like, wow, this woman is one tough SOB. She's like the stone cold of the women's division, man. That'd be something he would do. Just pop it back in, I'll be all good. Um, and I mean, it was good back and forth. Um, I felt Rhea did get her licks in, which was good. Um, the start of the match, I saw that coming a mile away. I knew what Liv was trying to do, going in, going out, going in and going out. She was trying to see what Rhea's stamina was like. Uh, and then I loved it how Rhea pretended then to roll out. And Liv thought she was rolling out, so she's staying in, and then Rhea's rolled back. And she's like, nah, caught you. I knew exactly what you're going to do. Yeah, so, um, great moments like that. And then, of course, leading up to the end where, the chair gets brought in and Rhea's gone to hit. Dom's pulled it back, obviously, and, acting like you can't win it, you can't win the title like this, rah, rah, and obviously allowed
Right.
the distraction. Then another distraction later on, which allowed Liv to put her face first into the chair to pick up the victory, and of course what transpired with the smooch seen around the world afterwards to solidify the dirty turn. I thought the storytelling aspects of this was brilliant. And I know she had a lot of input herself, Rhea, but you could see Triple H written all over this because when stories are running fantastically, it's usually Triple H is doing. Um, but I thought from a story point of view, um, it extends the story. We know if Rhea had a won, it kind of would just end it and wrap it up. And I want to see this go for a little bit further yet, where she will absolutely get her hands on and destroy both of them in the end. Um, especially because she got screwed over. So once again, she didn't lose that belt in the first place. She got screwed out of winning it. So this win is essentially tainted. We know that from our perspective. How did you feel about how the match flow went, how the storytelling went in this match?
I agree with you on all points. I mean, I thought
Mm.
it was spot on. I wasn't necessarily expecting Dom to, basically, because at first it looked like he was gonna, he was still gonna be on Rhea's side, when they
Yes.
first, and then he just right at the end he kind of screws her over. It's like, ouch.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
between this and what happens later in the show, somebody said something about Judgment Day. I said, well, the sun is setting on Judgment Day, and
Yep.
it's it's. I think after this and what happened later, the sun is set. Okay, it's Judgment Day is no more after this week. I don't think
No.
so.
No. Um, Although I seen a little bit on Raw before we went live. There might be a new Judgment Day. I don't know how long it'll last because it's funny they haven't got any powerhouses in the new Judgment Day, and they're all quite short wrestlers. Because
I, I
Damien.
I also pointed out that Dom is probably going to have to go into witness protection.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
Either that, or I said all of a sudden next week there's going to be a overtly tall luchador whose name is going to loosely translate to the traitor, okay,
Yeah.
or the turncoat, because
And good to
I
see the
mean,
Rocket One rocking out. She said, "Great to see you, Paul," in the chat.
yep. Thank you.
Um,
Good to see you too, Trent.
but no, I mean, he's because Rhea's not the only one who wants a piece of his ass. We seen at the pay
No.
per view, Damien storming in not long after the match into
Oh
the
yeah, where
clubhouse.
is he? Yeah,
Yeah, grabbing
yeah.
Finn by the scruff of the shirt. Like, did you know about this? Which we clearly found out later, and obviously tonight on Raw that he did. Um, but
What's funny to me is whenever they show this stuff, we see them do sneaky stuff that's caught on camera, and I guess none of these guys supposedly go back and watch the tapes to go, wait, I saw you slip that on the table, or I saw you,
well, we
like
knew
every scene.
we knew we when you kind of think about it, we know Finn had to be behind and known about
Right.
the whole time because he took that bloody hotel key, man, and
Yeah.
he wasn't against Liv because Liv, it realistically, technically did help them win the tag team championships when they won them. Him and little garden gnome. McDonough. So
McDonough, yeah.
he wasn't opposed to her. Although I don't think she really kind of fits that whole Judgment Day vibe, much as Rhea fit it. But I think Rhea and Damien will team up a lot against them because those two are essentially, if you've seen them outside the ring, are like very, very close. They're like a brother and sister, even though they're not blood related, but they're like
Right.
brother and sister the way those two are with each other.
Right.
Um, they actually have a name too. They're like the Destruction Twins or something along those lines. Damien and Rhea, but and I mean she was at his his show that was before SummerSlam. It was him and her hosting and that.
Oh,
But no, it was a great way to kick it off. As I said, I thought the flow of the match was beautiful. The storytelling was spot on, and it continues the story. We know it's been a long story played out, but it's kind of freshened up because Rhea obviously only just came back. Um, and you don't want a winning straight away. You want it's always good when the baby face is on the chase. And so I think the next time though that they're in the ring together is when Rhea will absolutely destroy her and take that belt back that she never lost. The next match I thought was great. Very short though, but great. And again, me and you predicted the outcome of this match. It is the second time around for Bron Breakker and Sami Zayn over the Intercontinental Championship. Uh, in such a short period of time, they only had under 6 minutes. Um, they put on a hell of a lot of good spots in that match and a good little back and forth between the two. Sammy really, and Bron said at the after show, the post show as well. He's so thankful for Sami Zayn, calling him, a future Hall of Famer, one of the best hardest working talents in the ring. He really made Bron, not that Bron needed the help, but he did. He helped in the sense of elevating Bron now, made him look great. Um, as I said, even with the way he took Bron's spear and made it look impactful, even though Bron makes it impactful enough with the speed he bounces off those damn ropes at. Um, we even seen a Frankensteiner.
yes, we
Frankenstein.
did.
It's been a minute. We know his uncle was known for that. Mister Big Papa Pump, Scott Steiner. He does it just as beautifully too as his uncle too. And man, I thought for a quick little match, I would have liked to seen longer. If I had one complaint, yeah, I would have liked to seen at least a 10-minute match. I know they can't give everybody a heck of a long time. With certain matches on the card, obviously going or scheduled to go longer than others, but I would have liked to seen a little bit more. But it was a good little match for what it was. What did you feel, and were you happy that Bron got the victory?
It may have been a short match, but a lot happened in a very short period of time. Uh,
Yes, yes.
I mean, that's one thing too. I mean, it wasn't a lazy match. They definitely burned a lot of energy in that very short match. Um, so yeah, I thought it was exciting personally, and
It was.
I didn't realize it was that short actually.
No, neither did I until I went and looked up the time. I mean, I had a feeling it felt short, but I didn't think it was that. Um,
Right.
but then, like as I said, like I agree with you. They packed in so much, and it was also cool, like seeing Sammy pick this big bulky bastard up and suplex him into the turnbuckle, like it was nothing. Um, and it was a fantastic little match. As I said, I would have liked to see a little bit more time for him, but um, and it was good to see Bron being put over. I think he needed this time around. We said this time around, being the sequel, that Sammy was likely to drop the title. And Sammy had a good run with that. So Sammy doesn't need
Yep.
Sammy's well and truly over and set there, and like Bron pointed out, he goes, look, he's won every title imaginable except for obviously the world heavyweight title. He's won everything else. He's won few intercontinental titles and US titles. He's been tag team champion and everything else. So the only thing missing off his resume now, and hopefully one day we will see him actually achieve it, is winning one of those top world titles.
Yep.
You know,
And I will say that this match had probably my favorite meta reference during the fight. There was a throwaway line, and I think it was Pat McAfee said it probably was because he's the kind of guy who will do stuff like this. He yelled, "The biggest fight in Cleveland since Ricky Vaughn took on Roger Dorn midfield." which
Yes, it
if
was.
you're a major league fan, you know that's from that movie actually.
Yeah,
And so to me, I caught that and I thought, okay, this is awesome. Just
yeah,
because
it was.
it was a throwaway line.
It
It was,
was. It was.
yeah. And so you really had to kind of be paying attention. You go, wait, what? You know.
Hey, what's good, Dread? Good to see you, my brother. The man with
So
the
yeah, I
mythical
thought that
beard.
was just great.
It was, and yeah, you're
Like I
right.
said,
It
a
was. It
lot
was Pat
happened in a
McAfee.
very, like I said, a lot happened in a very short fight. Uh,
Yes, it did. It was jam packed in a small sample size, but man, because essentially they're both very explosive. Like Sammy's
yeah,
quite quick. Bron for a big boy is very explosive. No one they've said nobody in the history of wrestling springs off those ropes and gets the type of explosion that he does. I've never seen it in before too. That's why I think his spear is so impactful because of the spring and bounce he gets off those ropes. Um, and Sammy put up his fight as well and had some good spots himself.
yep.
So
And I do think one of the reasons it may have been short is because they do both go at it very strong and very fast.
yes,
If
yeah,
they go on too long, they're gonna show that they're winded, you know,
yeah, yeah.
pretty quickly. So you don't want them to look like that. You want them to look
No.
like they started strong and ended strong. You know.
We know both can wrestle longer matches.
Oh
We've
yeah,
seen it with them before, but as I said, I think the official time was 5 minutes 40 seconds. So I
yeah.
mean, even if they drew it out for at least, we'll just say round it up for another 3 minutes, so made it an 8 minute match, it would have been nice, and they could have done a couple of other little things. I don't think it would have, even at their pace, would have at that point, 4 minutes
No,
longer.
but they wouldn't want them either one of them to be sucking air by the end of that match because you want them to both look strong. You
Yeah,
know.
and they did. Even in
Yeah.
defeat, Sammy still looked strong. Like
Yep.
he put up a fight. He defended the title with honor, and Bron was the better man on this night, and he walked away. The young Steiner with the belt, with his dad and his uncle clapping away and proud up in the legends box.
Yes.
There was a few legends up there. I'll take a moment to talk about that. You had the Steiner brothers and Kevin Nash and X Pac were up there. Diamond Dallas Page was up there. Jacqueline was up in the box. We haven't seen
Yeah.
Jacqueline for years. So it was good to see a whole bunch of them. And Cody mentioned actually at the post show that he never actually had seen anything like it before what WWE did. And he said, hopefully I don't get in trouble for mentioning this, but he said, everybody, including like people like Byron Saxton, everybody got a text at the start of the day. These legends are going to be in attendance tonight, and because obviously there's such a lot of new young talent on the roster, they gave little bios on each of the legends that would be there, so in case there was, for people like Tiffany Stratton and others that are young like that might not know a lot about these legends. In that, I mean, they probably should because they're in wrestling, but you never know. And so Cody thought that was really, really cool. And he ran down most of the executive from Triple H to Bruce Pritchard and that. He goes, I don't know whose idea it was, but whoever's idea it was brilliant. And yeah, it was. I hope they continue to do that because, as I said, there could be talent that's coming up on the roster that, yeah, we've heard of these guys. We don't know much about them, though, like of what they did or what belts they might have won. So, yeah, it was a cool little thing, I thought. But the third match of the evening, I know this one definitely brought a smile to your face. I know I was happy in the sense of LA Knight finally they gave him his just desserts and he finally won a title in WWE. Um, he had a fantastic match with Logan Paul. There was some awesome spots in that match. Um, I loved how Triple H described one of the moves that Logan did because he's like, "Oh, there's so many flippy floppy moves, I don't even know what to call it." But he was talking about where LA Knight was on the outside and Logan ran up onto the rope and then turned around on the rope and then backflipped off. I thought that move was done so exquisitely. Which Logan Paul usually does a lot of these high flying moves, so actually he moves very, very well. I've praised him many times about his in ring ability. Uh, Definitely a celebrity from the outside that's taken this seriously. There's been celebrities that have come in and kind of just used WWE in that where he hasn't. He actually enjoys this stuff, and you can tell that. But this was great. And I don't think I think the win was great for LA Knight, but I also don't think that this is over either.
No,
Well,
but I think I mean, because I saw something that for as long as Logan Paul held the title, he only had like 2 or 3 title defenses in
mm,
like in all that time. So yeah, he was going to a lot of the venues and stuff and showing up, but he wasn't wrestling, you
right.
know.
What was your thoughts on the match?
I thought it was good. I liked the way it ended, you know. But
Mm.
at the same time, as soon as all of a sudden, hey, Logan's friend is here and high five, I went, you can look at my Twitter. I went, yeah, you know he's going to pull out the knucks and try to help Logan because that's what they do every single match,
Yeah, it
you
was
know.
MGK gave him the knocks. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It's like as soon as you saw him, you go, okay, we're going to do this again.
I know. And
But I like the way they kind of,
LA Knight
yeah,
took it like a trooper, and then Logan
yeah,
thought he had him knocked stupid. He comes in, he turns it into his finisher. I was like, that was
yeah,
funny. Oh, that was too funny. He even beat the crap out of Logan's two prime boys as well, dragged them over
yep,
the bloody barrier. I was kind of
yep.
hoping he was going to drag MGK over the barrier too.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm happy with the way it ended. I'm like, it's about time somebody didn't let him get away with this crap, you know?
No, no, but as I said, it was a fantastic match. Um,
Yeah, it was. I mean, I always like watching Logan. I think part of it too is there's stuff that Logan does outside of the ring that makes me not really like the guy.
mm,
Um, so I try to separate the two because he is fun to watch in the ring and when he's doing his thing, when he's doing his shtick, for the show. But a lot of that is Logan. Logan is a cocky little prick, you know,
yeah, yeah, he is. He is like his
and
brother.
so yeah, so um, part of me is hoping that we really don't see too much of Logan showing up very much until he's,
Well,
but we'll see. Yeah.
well. On that note, before we move on to the next match, why I said I don't think this is over. Coming from Ringside News, Logan Paul is filing a lawsuit against LA Knight for stealing his prime truck. Right. The document, which was filed in the United States District Court for the Northern District of Ohio, shows that Logan Paul is the plaintiff in the case. The defendant, Sean Michael Ricker, also known as LA Knight, is being sued for civil theft and property damage. According to the complaint, Knight stole Paul's prime truck and used a metal pipe to break the truck's driver's side window, damaging the door frame and surrounding areas. Paul is seeking both compensatory and punitive damages, as well as attorney's fees and costs. The document argues that Knight has no valid defences against these claims. The nature of the action focuses on the misconduct of LA Knight, which Paul claims caused significant damage to his vehicle. The incident reportedly occurred before a match between the two at SummerSlam. The lawsuit alleges that Knight found Paul's truck at the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse loading dock and in what Paul describes as a deliberate act of malice, stole and damaged the vehicle. Uh, so,
So wait. So he's filed charges on something when there was a camera there already set up to catch uh LA Knight stealing the truck and Logan running after it. That wasn't set up. Yeah, come on. You know.
well, I think the whole document that he shared to Twitter, he's
Yeah.
actually literally shared this apparent legal document. I think it's as baloney as what Nick Aldis called out his Cleveland higher ups that he had in the ring for the banner celebration.
Yeah.
He's like, he's telling Logan, go, oh, I tried to Google these people up, and you know what? I didn't find a single one. Yeah, I didn't find a single one of them. But no, I think this is just the way to continue because he's going to use this and he's going to cry foul and he's going to say, have a rematch. So I dare say they might have another match. I don't think it'll be at this bash in Berlin at the end of the month. If I'm going to take a guess, hey, what's good, Rock? What's good, brother? If I'm going to take a guess, I will say it at Bad Blood. Kind of would be fitting for Bad Blood, him saying that there's bad blood still there with this whole, as I said, I think it's phony baloney lawsuit thing. Oh, you stole me.
Well, it's easy enough to prove because all that stuff is public record. You can search it and you can see if you can find the filing.
Yeah, so. Yeah. I mean, he still could have gone to a lawyer to get it all done up. Like, I mean, we've seen that done in the bloody past with WWE for Story Point. To make it look legit, kind of thing. But
right.
Which
was much easier to do in the past before you had access to the internet and you could do a record search.
Yeah, yeah. So, as I said, I think they'll continue it. Obviously, LA Knight will defeat him a second time too, and then he probably will take a hiatus for a bit. Although, from what I'm hearing, officials are trying to convince him to take this full time because he's just too good not to. I've said that for the longest time. He's too good not. I mean, Triple H mentioned in the post show that he's given up a lot of things for wrestling. He mentioned he gave up boxing. He's given up a couple other things. My
response to that would be he's also taken a lot of money by becoming Prime, becoming a a sponsor. He's actually taking in a shitload of cash.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, I want to see him take it on full time because he's too talented not to. It doesn't matter whether you like him or hate. It's just the fact that would be such a waste of talent if you don't, and especially because he's at the younger end of the scale age-wise. He could have a lot of years and a lot of matches left. This is his thing. Like, his brother's thing is boxing. This is his thing that he is really, really good at.
When you say his brother's thing is boxing, you need to put air quotes around that. Boxing old people.
Yeah, boxing has-beens and never was, yeah. But I mean, like, leave that to him, and because honestly, there's nothing stopping him from doing this full time because it will not interfere in him doing his YouTube show because there's plenty of wrestlers that do YouTube podcasts or whatever, so essentially a YouTube show, and still wrestle.
And like I said, he by tying in his products with WWE, he's making shitloads of money on both ends.
And like,
by the way, I just pulled up his tweet. There's no case number on that, so even if they filled it out, they're
But and like you mentioned before, he with the whole Prime thing, well, he has executives running that. So again, there's nothing stopping him from taking. I know he's got a lot of stuff going on, but it's stuff that he can work around to still do wrestling.
Right. A lot of it he can do, a lot of the quote management stuff. Like you said, he's not, because he can take phone calls anywhere and doing his show, his podcast, as long as he schedules time around that, he's good to go,
Yeah, exactly. So I would love to see him go full time with it. That, like Triple H said, is entirely up to him. But I mean, as I said, you're too talented. You've dedicated and put a lot of energy into getting as good as you are and doing all the training. Like, as I said, I just wouldn't want to see it be wasted. He's talented. he's a talented cat in between those ropes and definitely on the microphone. And as I said, he's made for that bit. He's like um, essentially, to a degree, he's like the new Shawn Michaels in the sense of um, he can put on that showstopper performance in the ring, and then he's got that cocky, arrogant, brash attitude, which reminds me so much of Shawn. Uh,
Which,
he's
by the way, I find it funny that LA Knight's given name is Shawn Michael. So,
oh, what? Hang on, no, it was what did I say? Sean Ricker, Sean Ricker.
but his middle name is Michael, so it's
Yeah,
Shawn Michael Ricker.
yeah, Sean
Yeah.
Michael Ricker. Yeah. But yeah, no. Hopefully we'll see that take place. But the next match on the card. Now this one, I really couldn't pick leading in. But at the same token, I didn't see Nia coming out on top. I didn't think they were going to have Bailey drop her belt so soon.
Yeah,
Uh,
that one kind of bummed me because I think
there
that
is
was, yeah.
rumors. I'd have to look this up myself, but there is rumors and that apparently her contract's up soon or something like that, and she could be on the way out. But I don't know how much to put to those rumors because I swear that she signed a new contract at WrestleMania. But again, don't quote me on that. And Triple H praised the hell out of her, even saying that he said she's arguably the best female worker on that roster and doesn't get enough credit sometimes, goes completely under the radar. And I agree with that statement when it comes to Bailey. She's
I think that there's been a big shift in that since the group broke up, since she's
no,
gone solo
no,
again.
but like I've said this for the
Yeah,
longest time. She's been a fantastic wrestler, but like
yeah,
the spotlight for so long, right? And this is when a certain other person was also in the company. You had her, Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte Flair all come up together. They were known as the Four Horsemen of Wrestling, right? Four Horsewomen of Wrestling. And the other three seemed to get the spotlight over her a lot for a good period of time. Um, but she, I mean, barely ever had any time off. Like Triple H said, is one of the best workers, hardest workers in that business. And, you know, he said you're always going to get money from her. She's money because
yeah.
she knows how to work that crowd. She, can talk very well. She's excellent between those ropes. And I loved what I forget who was saying it at the post show. Hulk Hogan and Andre who? That power bomb out of the corner. My goodness, I didn't think her poor legs were gonna hold the weight of Nia.
No,
Um,
that was impressive. That was stupid
that's why
impressive.
they made the comment. They were like, "Look, we all know that Andre kind of jumped a bit back in the day for Hogan to be able to even do what he did, right? But that out of that corner, there was no jumping from fucking Nia. So I actually think we have seen something knock off Hogan's slam of Andre with that last that feat of strength. Even the commentators are blown away. I was worried myself when she started walking out. I'm like, the legs are gonna go. Oh no! And she did it. I'm like, wow. Um, there's no questioning the strength of Bailey at all. Like to hold Nia up there for as long as she did, and then slam her down with no help from Nia, mind you, just pure utter strength. That was one of the best feats of strength I've seen in a long time, and it came, and it's not a surprising, but it didn't come from a man. It comes from a woman. Like that was unbelievable. But that match again lived up to how I thought it was going to be. You know, they played the whole Nia being an unstoppable powerhouse, you know, and Bailey having that never give up attitude, sort of like a John Cena attitude, and fought tooth and nail. Of course, Nia solidified it. I think the ending kept Bailey looking strong too, because Nia had to did two of her. I don't know what she calls it, where she gets on the turnbuckle and jumps down onto their chest, but she did that
Yep.
twice. Thinking, oh,
And
once
one
is
of them,
enough.
man, she got air. I think it was the last fight,
Yeah,
but man, did she get air? I was like, holy.
yeah. I'm like, oh, I'm like, yeah. I mean, I was watching. I'm like, oh no, Bailey, poor bugger.
And because
So,
she is, I've always, Naya is a big girl. For her to get that much air, seriously, that's
mm,
the.
yeah, she did well. At the same time, it was a very proud moment. Like, I I don't even think Nia herself ever thought she would be in this position ever. They mentioned it at the post show. It was 12 months ago. She wasn't even in the company.
Right.
Um, and she gave Triple H all the credit in the world. He found her in the first place, and that he was when she first ever came in 10 years ago, I think she mentioned. And um, he brought her back because he didn't believe what Vince did getting rid of her was right. He could see talent and money there, and believed in her. And then you know what? After all this time being in WWE too, she mentioned this at the post. That was her first SummerSlam.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, she's missed others, but due to when she's been a part of the company, due to injury. She goes every bloody time I'd get injured. And so she had the double whammy this year of becoming Queen of the Ring, and now finally on top. So it was a very crowning moment. She had a mum in attendance. She also had her auntie, The Rock's mother, also in attendance. Um, so whilst I didn't really,
I always find it interesting when that happens, when they win. I mean, do they let their family members know, hey, you really need to be there, you know? You know?
I'm curious. Yeah, yeah. I mean, but in saying that, we've seen plenty of times of people losing with their loved ones in the crowd too. So,
Yeah. I mean,
um,
I guess it depends on where they come from, though. I think if they come from far out, I would think that, yeah, maybe they kind of, even if they didn't tell them, they go like, you
yeah,
really need to be there that night. Okay, well,
yeah,
get your seats, man. Get your tickets. You
yeah, exactly.
know?
So as much as I didn't want Bailey's run to end, again, with the
No, and it'll be interesting to see what they do with her now too.
yeah,
Hopefully they're not going to let her contract lapse because she is on a high and she's done a lot for the company since she's gone solo.
yes, yes.
You know, she really has.
But
You know,
no, again, props to Naya.
yeah.
She deserves it. She's
Oh yeah.
really worked
I
her
mean, and
tail off.
that was it. Like I said, that was a great match to watch. I mean, the
Yeah.
fact that she was able, because if you watch that, not only did she pick up Nia, she carried her quite a ways before she got to the corner.
Yes, yes, that's what I mean. That's why I thought, no, I'm like Hulk Hogan and Andre Slam. What? No, I said this is better than that.
No, because not only did she pick her up, she actually carried her like probably what,
Yes,
5 feet or 6, whatever. And
yeah,
so, and that's not easy with a big girl like,
no, no.
because even if Nia's using her arm to push up
For
against her,
so
still she's got to carry all that weight.
for
You
so
know, that's
long, the standard was that slam by Hulk on Andre, but I
yeah,
think this now takes top spot because, as I said, we know you go back and watch that old footage, you can see Andre jump when Hogan goes to lift him. There was none of that help for Bailey. That was just pure,
yep.
unadulterated strength. That was
And
just
yeah, and
yeah,
what's funny, because they will admit there was no way Hogan was going to beat Andre without Andre saying, "Okay, I'm going to let you beat me."
yeah,
That doesn't happen.
no,
Andre had to agree to let him do that. You
yeah,
know,
yes, yeah, and as I said, for as strong as Hulk may have been at that time, if Andre didn't jump a little for that, I don't think he gets him up.
no, no, he needs to have that little bit of a push to kind of
Yeah,
get that.
because Andre was just too big of a human being. Or was he the? was he seventh or eighth wonder of the world, whatever he was. You know, he was just too big of a human being to just lift like that. I mean, I don't even think Arnold Schwarzenegger in his bodybuilding days could have done it. And he was, we know how strong Arnie was back then, um, without that help. But like Bailey doing what she did, I didn't envision it, and then you seen it. I even went back and watched it a second and a third time. Like, good lord, I was like, good lord, that is a strong woman. Like, because Naya ain't no little girl, you know.
Right.
She's a big girl, tall and just big, you know. So
Yeah,
um,
I mean, yeah, she's big. I mean,
that's a lot of weight to carry and like lift and carry for as long as
yeah.
she carried it before she put it down.
Well, and
That's
the thing
why.
is, she didn't look like she was stressing. She didn't look like she was straining at all.
No, no, I was watching the legs. That's why I watched it three times, and I
Yeah.
was watching it to see if the legs buckled a bit. And nah, not a single time. I'm like, how on earth her legs managed to do? I don't know, man. But all I know is that without a shadow of a doubt, and I know people probably before that would have said it was Jade Cargill was the strongest woman on that roster, or Bianca Belair. Bailey now, that there is the bar. She has to be. You know when Cesaro used to be in there, and it was known as a fact backstage and everything that he was the strongest male on the roster because of strength feats and that him and John Cena and a bunch of others would do in the training room and that. Well, I think Bailey just proved that she's the strongest woman on that roster without a shadow of a
Yeah.
doubt. There's no questions asked about that. And I know Jade and Bianca are strong women, but my goodness, hats off to Bailey. Like she may have lost her belt, but you have just won and got like so much adulation just for that freaking move. So she
Yeah.
can wake up this morning still feeling like a winner because that is going to be remembered for a long, long time. I'm telling you that's how good that was. So hats off to both the women. Hats off to both the women. You know, great for Nia. She's on top of the world now, as I said, Queen of the Ring, and now the champion. And I hope she gets a good little run now. But Bailey will be back, I think. She ain't going to go nowhere. And hats off to her too for an amazing strength of feet. We get into the next match, and whilst I loved the match, I didn't like the way it ended. Drew and Punk. I didn't like Drew winning. Uh,
No, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't care for that at all. I didn't.
no, and
Yeah.
I'm a bit surprised, right? I'm a bit surprised because I'm just going off a formula here. When you got two competitors and story wise leading into that match, one's more dominant over the other leading into the match. It's usually the one that's been dominated that usually gets the victory. A good 9 times out of 10 that plays the case. You know, a case in point. Anyone Brock Lesnar seen me? You know, Brock Lesnar destroy Cody, destroy Cody, destroy Cody, but then it get to pay and Cody win, right? So, and Drew had kind of had his way a few times with Punk, even busted him wide open in a bloody mess in Chicago. So he kind of really, for a lot of this, had the upper hand from a brutality standpoint when it came to beating on Punk. So I thought that one or two things was going to happen here. I thought the ending was either going to be Punk would actually be victorious, and that was the end of him and Drew's feud, and we would finally move on to the Punk and Seth feud that everybody's been waiting for,
Right.
which I think will be taking a back seat yet again because this whole feud with McIntyre clearly is not going to be over. Not yet, not until Punk gets a victory and gets that bracelet back.
That bracelet back. Yeah.
The second ending I thought was going to happen was they were going to both piss Seth off, and Seth was going to take them both out and stirb comp them, and then go, right, match is over. I thought it was going to be one or the other. And then if it had gone that
I was
way,
half waiting for a repeat on the screw job. Seriously, I was half
yeah,
the
I
the
thought if he
the three
curb
count that
stomps them
never
both,
happened. You know.
yeah, and if he curb stomps them both and ends it that way, then we go to Bad Blood, and maybe they do a triple threat Hell in a Cell match with them or something like that, right? And then they can all just beat the crap out of each other, right? So, because essentially they've all got a problem with each other, you know.
Yeah.
Seth hates Drew and he hates Punk. Drew hates Seth and hates Punk. Punk hates Seth and hates Drew. So it's like,
Yeah.
you know what? Instead of waiting for all these individuals, let's just chuck them all in the freaking ring and let them beat the crap out of each other. Hey, what's good, PK? What's good, brother?
Hey, PK.
But the match itself was great. I
Until
loved
the end. I gotta say, until
end.
the end.
Until the end. I loved the moments where Seth, they would look at him and like, oh, do I keep going? Like when when Punk's on the outside banging Drew's head against the steel, Seth's like, yeah, whatever, keep doing, go ahead. And then Drew had Punk underneath the ring to do, to flip him up into the metal. And initially Seth's like, no, that's a bit too, nah, fuck it. Like, just do whatever. And then, like, not counting him out. I thought Seth played his role very, very well. He was nearly, you could say, the highlight of the damn match. He almost kind of stole the show with his performance, and he wasn't even actually wrestling.
Yeah.
And then I even loved the moments and they mentioned this at the post show. Every time Drew has lost, and yet he's said it's Punk that cost him, even though Punk may have been involved. But it's been technically because Drew took his eyes off the prize. This time around, like they mentioned at the post show, it was because Punk took his eyes off the prize. He got more focused on that bracelet than beating Drew.
And let me say that's actually what I didn't like about it. I thought it didn't fit the character, and it was basically a reverse of roles. It didn't really make sense.
No, and look, I understand it from his point of view because he's been after it, and he mentioned it, I think, in one of his promos. Look, it's a $50 thing that was made by a fan, but it's the meaning behind it. It's got my wife's name on it, my dog's name on it.
And that fan is cashing in, by the way. If
yes, I know. I've seen that. I said, yeah. But then, like, as I said, at the end where I thought, okay, you've beaten Punk, and I thought that was it. Then he had to go and take the bracelets off the hands and then kiss it right in his face. I'm sitting there going, oh, this is not over. And then he said it is over at the post show, but he admitted, like Drew admitted, he goes, oh, we know what's going to happen on Raw, and he might put a little social media post there. Punk's going to blame me, or he's going to blame Seth, he's going to blame everybody else, rah, 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 rah. And I don't think that that's what's going to happen. I actually think that Punk's going to come out and say, this ain't over yet. Because one, I didn't accomplish what I told everybody I was going to accomplish, kicking your ass. And two, I still want my bracelet back. Because there's obviously it is meaningful to him. You can have something that is 50 cents or $1, but it could mean everything in the world to you because of maybe who.
Well, I think that's the other part that bugged me too is they could have ended part of this by not having Drew take the bracelet back, because why does Drew need to take the bracelet back? He beat him in the ring.
I know.
There was really no reason to take the bracelet back.
I think
it's like
when you put it like that too, he kind of contradicted himself by saying, "Oh, well, from my point of view, it's over at the post show." Well, if it's over, then why would you take the bracelet? Well, clearly you want it to continue. You don't want it to be over. Otherwise, what you think you can take the man's prize thing, and there's not going to be an issue still. So. There's clearly going to be another match. Hopefully, it's just a one-on-one with a normal referee. I think, though, it'll probably be a very brutal match. So this is why I think Drew and
Either that or
Punk.
all three of them in Hell in a Cell, for all I care. You
Well,
know,
that's
like,
what that's what I said. Yeah, at Bad Blood. But besides that, I think it'll be Drew and Punk again at Bad Blood, but it'll be like a Hell in a Cell or anything goes match.
yeah.
Because Punk's gonna want to freaking um. I think that feud will be over when Punk is standing over the top of him and gets what back, and then we'll finally be done with. Hey, here he is, the legendary one himself, Yobi-san. Welcome in, brother. Welcome in.
Hey,
Uh,
Yobi.
but yeah, apart from that ending, I loved every aspect of the match. I thought it was a great match. I think Punk looked great coming back from injury and that. Didn't look winded at all. Commentators were mentioning that too. Even at his age and that, he didn't look winded. He's probably in the best shape of his career, arguably. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of good spots, but like you mentioned, it's unusual to see Punk take his eyes off the prize. That's never really been a part of him or his character. But that that damn bracelet, as I said, has a lot of meaning to him, and he's that wife of his and his dog mean the world to him. So I kind of see how it brings into that aspect of the
I get
story.
that. I just didn't think storytelling wise that it really worked for me.
No, well, like you said, it was like a role reversal watching it in a sense,
Yeah,
like but no, it was other
which
than
kind
that,
of to me broke Punk's character because yeah, it meant a lot to him, but I don't see him
and then the
getting that.
moment with
What it should have been as soon as he saw what's his name wearing it, as soon as what's his name, no, I just picked it up, I'm just holding it. That should have been the end of it, not this continual. Oh
well,
my
yeah,
God,
no, he
you
got
know.
distracted that time, and you could see Seth sitting there. No, I'm just holding it, man.
Yeah,
Like, would you rather have him picked it back up again?
yeah, I know,
Um,
and but instead he went after Seth, which is like,
yeah,
see,
because he
that's why
thought
it.
he's sitting
Yeah,
there thinking, are you trying to f with me? Are you trying to f with me?
yeah,
And
but
he's just like, no, I'm just trying to do my job. I'm just, I was holding on to it so I didn't get lost or, shoved out of the ring, whatever.
like I said, the for me the distraction level just didn't work for me. It didn't make sense
Yeah,
that
yeah,
CM Punk would let himself get that distracted that he wouldn't hear him going, "Hey, I just picked it up. I'm holding it. I'll give it to you after the match." You know, you know
yeah, exactly.
that
PK
that
said,
was my only complaint. Other than
P,
that, it was I just didn't care for the way it ended. I
PK
really
says, PK says in the chat, what happens when we throw a quarter in the air? But, excuse me. Um, no, it was a great match. Other than that, and clearly, as I said, we're not done with this whole Punk and Drew thing. I just want to get to Punk and Seth because I think there's a greater story there, really. And
Both of their personalities, yeah, the way they chew up the scenery in the ring every time they're in there with running their mouths, yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah,
that'll be a lot of fun.
but no. So we will see how this pans out now. We'll see how this pans out. What's PK saying
He's
here?
just being PK.
Yeah. Thank you for bearing with me too, folks. I'm still, as I said at the top of the show, I'm still dealing with COVID that I caught at the end of last week. Hasn't been fun at all. That's why I'm trying not to laugh as much, because otherwise I'll end up coughing. Uh, uh, Still enjoyed the pay-per-view though, nonetheless. Punk and Drew next matches better deliver.
Better
This one didn't
deliver.
deliver at
Yeah.
all. Yeah, that's what I mean. It was I thought it was a good match. I'm not going to say it was completely crap, but I thought Seth was probably the best part of the match. I thought Seth played his role. I just loved it. Like, yeah, I'm going to let these two beat the crap out of each other. I'm going to let them beat
Except
the
he
crap out
really
of.
didn't remember because at one point he grabbed the chair and he threw it out of the ring. He's like,
Excuse
"Nah,
me.
you're not going to do that." You know.
Yeah, yeah. And so,
So every once in a while they played it like he was going to take sides, and he really didn't.
no,
You know,
no. And just that laugh, that he does as well.
yeah.
I'm like, oh, dear me.
Mm.
um, All right, so then we're on to the second last match of the evening, and I was so sad for Damien Priest. Great match, uh, and unfortunately he lost his world heavyweight championship to Gunther. Uh, I didn't see this happening so soon. I knew one day Gunther was going to be champion because the way he's been built up, and you know, he is main event material. I just didn't think it was going to be this soon, and at the cost of Damien's run coming to an end so soon. But Gunther's now the champion. Like the commentators have said, he could be champion for a very long time. Uh,
Yeah, they seem to do that with him. Once he has a belt, he hangs on to it for
Well,
quite a
they
while.
made a point of that. He doesn't lose too often. Now, when he was NXT, I think they were mentioning this at the pay per view. When he was NXT UK champion, he held it for 800 odd freaking days. When he was the Intercontinental champion, it was somewhere in between 600 to 700 days. I don't know if it's going to be like 600 or 800 days here, but I could definitely see him racking up, say, 300 freaking days or something like that, or something ridiculous like that too. I don't think it's going to be a Roman length thing, but I still think he's going to have a very lengthy run because, like you mentioned, and like I just said, the track record speaks for itself. They have a tendency to do this with him because he's presented as so dominant, and you know, there's really no record when it pertains to this championship. So he quite clearly could be the longest running world champion with this particular championship. But what was
But we both said since Roman, we think they may be going for the short. We're not going to see those 4 or 5 year runs.
no?
So,
That's what I mean. I think
yeah,
if
I
they
wouldn't be
talking,
surprised if he holds it for a year. I wouldn't be surprised if he holds it for a year or a little more. You know,
I'm going to
because
predict.
because he's also an active champion. He's
I'm
also
going
an
to
active
predict.
champion. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to predict. I'll go with a year and a half to 2 years. I think.
Yeah.
I think I could see it even a 2 year run with him as the champion. They might want to set a record with this belt then, and you know, I mean, he's broken set records with a few other belts. Obviously, most recently the Continental title. So clearly, they're doing that type of thing with him. So it kind of would work its way here. And you know, as I said, he's there every week. He wrestles every week generally, or most weeks, and he's fun to watch. He really is. He's gotten better on
Yeah.
that microphone too. He's started to get a real personality about himself. um, even when he's been doing that sort of smirk lately,
Yeah.
you know, I'm like, it's good to see. You know, he's done
Now
a
help
lot
me
of
out
work.
here though. Isn't he part of Imperium? Isn't he like
No, he's the leader of. There's only two of them
of
now, but yeah.
but where have they been? That's what surprises me is
Well,
he didn't even get
Ludwig.
his slow-mo intro,
No, not until tonight on Raw. Because
Yeah.
Kaiser had been out. If you remember, he got injured.
Oh, that's right.
The
Yeah,
other
yeah.
the
Forgot
other
about
one
that.
got booted out. So I don't know what happened to Vincey. I don't know. I don't know where the hell he's gone. Um, what did Yobi say in the chat? If he's gonna hold it for a while, I'd say let Damien win it back at WrestleMania next year. Maybe, but I think he's gonna hold it well and
I
truly
think
past that.
WrestleMania may be a little too soon. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Gunther's gonna hold it for at least 2 years. Yeah, I predict Gunther's gonna hold this for 2 years. Um, I'd love to be wrong, but as I said, they seem to do lengthy reigns with him. So
And like I said,
very soon,
he's not
PK. Very soon, brother.
he's not a stay-at-home champion either. So that's what I like about it is you will continue unless something changes, you will continue to see him. It's not like he's going to win the belt and disappear like some
Yeah.
people do. You know,
I've been trying to just to answer your question, PK. I've been trying to organise that. So very soon. I've tried to get him on even the Bastards a couple of times, but he'd been held up
Yeah,
or he'd been busy with
oh
a
yeah,
couple of
we've
things.
invited him a couple of times, and then something happened, and we can't do the show. So,
Yeah. And he's been a little bit busy himself too. So, but we
yep.
will eventually. I want to get him on, just like when the myth, the legend above you, Mr. Yobi-san. He's going to jump on one of these Monday. I think he said he's got holidays coming up soon, so he'll be able to jump on finally on a Monday podcast to talk wrestling. He's been looking forward to jetting on here himself. But no, it was look. This was a good match. Um, we haven't seen Gunther be real tested in a match before, except for his matches back in the NXT days with the Mad Dragon. But Priest brought it to him.
No, I thought they were a good matchup. I thought
Yeah,
their styles matched each other very well.
like early in the piece where Damien was sort of kicking the crap out of it, like that, and then the expression on Gunther's face was like, "Wow, no one's hit me like that either before or for a long time." Like Damien could match him for strength, uh, and they both gave it their all to each other in those rings. But yeah, man, it was a really good match. They got a good almost 17 minutes, man. To showcase the stuff. Obviously, we seen at the end Balor come out, uh, circling the ring. I think Gunther kicks him. I think Gunther kicked him in the face or something off the apron or
Yeah,
something at
pretty
one point.
much. Yeah.
And then we seen Damien hit the South of Heaven and yeah, roll him close to the ropes. And he didn't notice until he seen the replays. He's like, "How did he kick out of that?" I watched the replay as his running buddy in the Judgment Day put Gunther's leg on the ropes, essentially. The second turn of the night, putting a nail into the Judgment Day or the original Judgment Day's coffin. Um, and it was funny though too, because for a second there, and that helped, but for the distraction, allowed Gunther to get the win. He grabbed Finn by the throat, man. Like he really grabbed him, an intense stare down, like you piece of shit, like you mother effer. But man, I can't praise this match enough. Both men just left it all in the ring. What do you feel about the match
No,
and
I was I was I was really I really noticed how well they matched each other up. Size and skill and their abilities. I mean, they
Mm,
were a good matchup. They
yes,
and we
yes,
haven't seen a good matchup against Gunther like this in a long, long time.
no,
You know,
no,
somebody that looked like they could stand toe to toe. Same with Damien actually, because he's a big boy, and there are
yeah,
very few that
yeah,
look like they can stand one on one with him. You know, but Gunther
right.
looks like he can stand there and stare him down and take him out. You know, so and I agree with Yobi. This probably was the match of the night from start to finish.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
yeah. This was a fantastic match. It really was. I can't praise both of them enough. And as I said, it's the first time in a long time I'd actually seen someone match Gunther so perfectly. Because Damien he knocked him around a bit, and made his chest bleed even, you know. Um,
yep. Well, and
and
that's the thing is Damien can usually knock anybody around, but Gunther's big enough to stand up and go, "What else you got?" You
yeah, well,
know.
Gunther didn't even realize for a bit
Yeah,
there
that he was
that
bleeding
that he
until he
was
looked down
bleeding. Yeah,
and
he looked down and then he rubbed it through his hair. And the commentator like, "He's an animal. He's a sick
yeah.
mammal." But man, like, yeah, it was great. The only thing I would have loved to prefer to see is Gunther just if they were going to give Gunther the win, they could have at least just given him the win cleanly. Like Gunther, we've seen plenty of time. He doesn't need help. The man is just can steamroll people, but you know he is so well equipped in
Yeah.
that ring, you know, and so and he's a big boy too. He's not like he's one
But
of
this
these
could be
little
part
wrestlers.
of a story. The only reason you beat me is because
Yeah, well,
Finn got in there,
it's going to be that. Just like for Orton, if you're seeing on Raw tonight,
Yeah.
his thing was, well, you wouldn't be world champion right now if the correct decision had been done at King of the Ring when you pinned me and my shoulders were not on the mat.
Yeah.
You know, and that was clear as day because they showed replays of that, and I'm like, Orton's shoulder was like well and truly up in the air. I'm like, huh? I remember going all the way back to King of the Ring. I'm like, what the? How is that a victory? Like,
Well,
that's a
and
bad
see,
boo
I,
boo.
I like the fact that because of that mistake, they're now going back and they're basically making that mistake part of the story.
Yes. That was another thing
So
before we touch on this last match. How did you feel about the refs wearing that ear cam? How did you feel
yeah,
about that? And do
I really didn't think much about it personally.
I'm wondering if it's going to be a permanent fixture in the sense of will it help them at all if they need to, like, if they're going to start doing things of, hang on, they're saying that that shouldn't have been a pin, and then they've got the cam
Right.
footage there to be able to go back. You know how sort of like in
Well,
other sports they can
it
show the
also looked like he
replay.
had an earpiece in him too, though. So
Yes, yeah,
and so I'm wondering if or I mean, I hate to because remember in the old days you just would have Vince standing at the side of the ring, pit him. Now they can tell the ref in his ear, here's what you need to be doing or whatever.
yeah.
Hopefully they don't do that too much. At least
No,
not that
no,
it's obvious. Yeah.
no. I thought it was a
So at
cool
one
little
point, I
concept.
forget which match it was, but at one point in one of the matches, they had the camera down on one of the guys down on the mat, and you could see him out, I'm ready before a shot was made. So, it's like,
Yeah,
and if and like and as you know, because you've not only done this, you've been at some of these matches. If you're watching it live, you can see all that when they're
yeah, yeah,
communicating
yeah.
with each other and stuff. And if you're close enough, you can sometimes hear what they're saying to each other. So
Bring me into the corner, and I'm gonna run, give you a clothesline. Then
right,
you're gonna stumble out of the corner, and I'll power slam. You know, like,
yeah.
and that's how they work. Hence why when they get each other a lot in the locks, and they're like,
There's a lot of talkie.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of talking and going on in there too. You know, but no, fantastic match to both of them. Um,
Yep.
as I said, I didn't think Damien's run. I knew Gunther was going to be a world champion at some point. I just didn't think it was going to be this soon, and I didn't think Damien's run was going to come to an end so soon. Um, you know, especially like what he's been through and where he's come from to get to where he is. You know, he admitted himself he's the guy that should never have been a world champion. You know, he was
Right.
homeless at one point, homeless and overweight, and you know he's
Hard to believe that looking at him now, because man.
yeah. You go watch his documentary they just put out and go how blown up he was at one point. He was nearly unrecognizable. He wasn't this trim, terrific, built, you know, chiseled out of granite guy that you'll see now. Yeah, he was overweight and he was having health issues and, as I said, homeless, and life just was not going anywhere. You know, he'd been through a lot, and then as I said, like by the time he got to WWE, he still didn't think he was ever going to be world champion because he's like, you know, I'm an older guy now. You know, as I said, I believe he's 40 or he's near enough, or maybe just over into the early 40s. So he probably thought time had passed for that type of thing. You know, oh, I might get a chance at Intercontinental and all that, but you know, hopefully, as I said, we see him as a world champion again. You know, one day. And Yobi said, I like the ear cam. I'd say bring it out for special occasions like PLEs. Yeah, yeah. I thought it was something neat. And as I said, they could utilize that sometimes as a replay thing. Like, okay, you know, now that I was about to mention other sports where they're like, did that happen? Okay, let's have a look at it. You know, and oh, thanks, Yobi. He's 41. Yeah. And they
But
look at
the
it
issue is
and
they really
change it.
can't like unlike other sports where they use that stuff, you can't stop in the middle of the match and go, let's go back and check the replay.
No, no, no.
So
But you could do it. Say you've done a pin, right, and then
right.
someone on the outside or the commentator say if someone said something, and then you go over, and then you could use that to then go, hang on, we're restarting the match. That
Yeah.
wasn't a pin
Yeah.
for whatever.
Yeah.
So
As long as they don't overuse that, I could see it being
no,
cool. Yeah. Just
no,
don't,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Don't overuse. Yeah, exactly. Then of course we came to the main event, the Bloodline Rules match. This match, Cody carried it. That's about as good as I can really say. Uh, Solo is, to say the least, very bland and very boring.
Well, especially compared to those that he brought into the bloodline. Holy shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jacob Fatu just overshadows him. Something cruel. Uh, Cody really carried this. It was what it was, but I knew that because it was Bloodline Rule, it was going to come down to keep the excitement up was going to be the run-in, and so obviously we started with the Tongaloa and Tamatonga coming down and double teaming Cody, which then brought out Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. And I don't know, I lost count how many freaking crossroads were hitting that damn match. All up. I should have had a counter because I'm sure there was at least nearly 4 or 5, maybe even
Yeah.
more.
At least.
Yeah, yeah. And, you know, the best part of that match for me was that ending with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns hasn't got a reaction like he got at SummerSlam ever. I've never ever heard that. I thought the whole freaking stadium was going to come crumbling down. It was that loud, and that music hit. And they've changed up the music a little bit now because he is listed as a babyface. Wow, it was deafening. I know that he would get cheers and that because people were enjoying the character on his run when he was the champ. But he's never, ever, ever, ever got that type of reaction in his whole career. That was loud. I would have loved to see him do a sound decibel test on that because that was huge. And I love the shirt, OTC. I knew instantly what it stood for. And people were questioning who he was going to come down to help. I knew instantly who he was going down to help. But like Cody said it best at the post show, he didn't come down there to help me. That wasn't what it was about. It wasn't. Come down there to kick the ass of the person that's running around calling himself the tribal chief. That's who he came down there to deal with. And boy, oh boy, did he lay that fist in, and then that nice, beautiful spear that took him down too. Cody's reaction on his face played right into it beautifully too, like shock and awe, like one, wow, you're back, and two, what? You're not attacking me?
Yeah.
And it was good because Roman, before he left the ring, he didn't have to say anything. He did what he did to Solo. Then he gave Cody that little nod. I don't know if you've seen it or missed it, but he gave Cody a little nod, like there you go.
And they did it without making it too obvious that he was turning face because he still had that sneer on his face the whole time he was standing
and I hope they
outside
keep
the
that.
ring.
I hope you don't have to change him a bit. People are eating him up.
Yeah.
It's like Punk. You don't change Punk just because he's a baby face and he stops being the smart ass that he is. Keep him. That's why people love him, right? Yobi, I totally agree. It took the new administration 2 years to get Roman super over versus Vince, who tried 8 years to do it and failed. Yeah, and you want to know what? This is naturally. I've said it the whole time. Let him naturally get over. John Cena naturally got over as the face of the company. Shawn
Right.
Michaels naturally got over as the face of the company. Bret Hart, Stone
Yeah.
Cold, The Rock.
Yep.
For the
Well,
first
one
time
reason
ever.
this worked too, it was they weren't depending on Roman to do it. They
No,
let the story do it.
but
They let Solo step in and try to take his place. You know, the
what
old
Yobi's
there's a power vacuum, and
yeah,
Solo stepped into that place.
but
And so you,
what
yeah,
Yobi's point too is, and this is why I agree with it. Vince, for the first time with Roman, he tried to shove that down everybody's. That was the problem, and shove him as the face. Didn't let it happen naturally. And I even sat back many a times thinking to myself, why all of a sudden are you fucking doing this? Every other face of the company that you've ever had, you've let get over naturally. You didn't push them or shove them or pretty much tell the fans, this is who the face of the company is, and it's getting shoved
right,
down your gullet whether you like it or not. And he did that with Roman, and that's why people didn't grasp to him. They just hated him because
yeah,
of what Vince did. And this is finally beautiful to see because
yep.
this could have
Well,
happened. This could have happened 8 years
and
ago.
yeah. Well, and even now he may not be made the face of the company, but
No,
he will
but
enjoy the
this,
fact that he's a good guy for a while and
yeah,
he's earned it. And
this
it's
should
story
have
wise, it fits.
this
Yeah,
should have been handled this way
yeah,
over 8 years ago. Because this could have been the case. He could have got over naturally like this if you just had to let it just happen naturally. And I'd love someone just to ask that question of Vince from going all the way back to Hulk Hogan. Every face of the company you had, they got over naturally and you let it all happen naturally. Why didn't you let that happen with Roman? Why? Because I think it could have. It just you needed a bit more time, you know? And he tried to do it way too quickly, right? He instantly tried to start doing it the minute, they started pulling apart from shit. I'm
yeah,
like, no, because he's still too fresh faced and that.
yeah,
Give it time. It took John Cena a bit of freaking time before he was
yeah.
considered the face of the company, but it all happened naturally. And
Right.
that's why, because of what Vince did, I said the only way you're going to save this poor guy, you need to turn him heel, right? He needs to go on a massive heel run before he gets back to being that baby face that we know he could be. Now, he's getting the type of reaction that a John Cena, that a Rock, that a Stone Cold, that reaction at that pay-per-view is that type of reaction.
Yeah, but we're gonna see if they can carry that through, depending on what they do with him now. You know,
Yeah,
one time return. I'm not trying to be Mr. Negative, but a one time return pop doesn't necessarily mean, that they can sustain it unless they tell the story proper. And I
exactly.
think they can right now because they have a good story. Him versus Solo and that group of
Yeah,
of the bloodline.
yeah.
And I also think it'll be interesting to see where they bring the final boss back in here because this is a family thing at this point.
Oh, well, we know who Solo's
Yeah.
working for. That's where this story's going. So it's going to come out eventually that the Rocks put Solo up to this, and then that'll eventually
Yeah.
lead to the final boss versus the original tribal chief.
Oh yeah.
Which I'm kind of
And then
hoping.
we're also gonna, also are we gonna see Paul Heyman come back?
Yeah,
You know,
I think he'll come back. It's already been advertised that Roman will be on SmackDown, so maybe Paul shows up there with him. Uh, I also think um, Jimmy and Jay are going to be by his side. I also think the Bloodline member that fans spotted out in the crowd, he's one of the youngest of them as well, known as Zilla Fatu,
yes.
uh, is also going to be on Roman's side. So I think it'll be Roman, Zilla, and the Usos as their four-man bloodline against the other four-man bloodline of Tangaloa, Tamatonga, Jacob, and Solo. And Yobi says, yes, Heyman's helping with the writing of the story as well. They are going to keep it up. And the badass thing about it, Roman is bringing his family to the top with him. Exactly. And yeah, Zilla, oh man, he's a fiery young cat. So Roman needs a younger guy on his side as well. So even up the scores. Um, it's going to be a badass fight. I'm kind of hoping they have this big massive battle at Survivor Series in a War Games match. Maybe that would be my go-to right now. So yeah, it's
I could see them. I could see them. Given where we are in the year, I could see them pushing this into next year. You know,
oh yeah,
because there's a
easily.
lot of
I
story to
think
tell. There's a lot of story to tell.
I think the payoff will be though WrestleMania next year if it's going to be Rock and Roman at
Yeah.
WrestleMania. Uh, Although in saying that, we could drag it out longer because we do know that yes, Rock wants that match, but he also wants his match with Cody. So it depends. But look, we've got the right storytellers in place to drag this as long as they want to drag it out. You've got fresh faces in there finally that's freshened up the whole bloodline storyline with with the Tongans and Jacob Fatu and Zilla Fatu, who's a free agent right now too, can be brought in. The other guy there's another bloodline member too that they've already hired in Hikuleo, which is Tama Tonga's younger half brother. So it actually might end up. This is where I think they'll end up having 5 on Solo's side. So I think even with Zilla joining Roman, I think this is where they will bring Sammy, now that he's free of the Intercontinental title, back into it and make him an oos. Make him an oos for the Romans bloodline.
Yeah. So for me, the bloodline storyline has picked up again because I was getting tired of that crap before, as you know,
Yeah.
because it was getting stale, it was getting old. Now they've managed to breathe new life into it.
Yeah.
And hopefully they've learned from last time is don't drag it on too damn long. You know.
No, exactly. But you've got fresh faces in there now, so I think it'd be interesting. Now, coming out of it too, there was a spot where Jacob put Cody on the table and, of course, jumped off the turnbuckle
Yeah.
out. People were wondering if he was legit hurt or not legit hurt. Well, I can now confirm that the injury scare was an injury. We don't know to what extent, but he was helped backstage after the main event. Now there's been a bit more information about him that's not great. So a video of Jacob Fatu getting around on the morning after SummerSlam has come out. Sadly, he's not walking without assistance. The bloodline member is in a walking boot right now, which could point toward a legitimate injury. Don't know how serious though the injury could be. So there hasn't been any release of diagnosis yet when it pertains to that. So it'll be interesting. I though kept going back to replays of it, and I don't know where once he jumped off and hit Cody, how he managed to hurt that leg, because he's from. Even when I was slowing it down, his leg doesn't connect with the table, or even the side of the table. So unless it's just from the impact of his legs hitting the outside mat, which we know is not the thickest mats, that's the only thing I can see. But yeah.
There's that, and he also could. I mean, I'd have to go back and watch, but he also could have hurt it even before that point. Because adrenaline, you can hurt yourself and continue to do shit.
I'm
Then
on.
all of a sudden, ow!
Hunter said on the press conference, Yobi said that he suffered a tear. Okay,
Ooh,
so
yeah.
that explains it. Yeah. So I don't know how long he's going to be out of action for, but this is why I think Hikuleo might come in and benefit that side at least until Jacob's better. Because see, a lot of people were thinking maybe they made him do it, you know, for storyline purposes to keep him separated from Roman for the time being, because people really would love to see those two go at it and don't want to see him do it too soon. Uh, but yeah, when he tried, I started thinking maybe in a legit when he tried to get up the second time and he just kind of collapsed and then he started throwing the chairs around in a fit of rage. Um, and you could see it on his face that he looked really angry and disappointed. I'm like, okay, maybe this is actually not story here. Maybe he is legitimately hurt.
Yeah.
But look, shout out and prayers to him. I hope he gets back really quickly because the man is extremely talented. Triple H had nothing but praise for this man. He's going to be a world champion one day. He's that good. So it's sad because he's only just recently debuted and he's been on a heck of a tear. Yeah, I'd hate to see him be out for a long period of time. So hopefully it's nothing too, too bad. But yeah, it'll be interesting. But the match itself, how did you feel about the match itself? Um, Including, obviously the run-ins at the end.
I mean, like I said, the other match was my favorite match, but this match was, for what it was good. And I actually like what Cody said at the after press conferences. He likes doing these bloodline rules matches because he's had two of them and he's won both of them. So you know, so they keep trying these stunts and there's always, it's not working in their favor. So, and I mean, I liked it. I even like when Roman came out though. It's funny because I've seen some people on Twitter. Well, I'm surprised that I'm like, why are you surprised that happened? We've all been saying that that's probably what's going to happen. They kind of led us into the fact that Roman is going to show up. You know, um, I thought it was well done. And the fact that they had his team comes out and they try to beat on Cody and whatever, and then Cody's team comes out and they try to beat. So and that's what you expect from these kind of matches anyway. Was there anything new and jaw dropping in this match? No, but the fact that Cody can sit there and like you said, Cody. I wouldn't say. Well, yeah, I would almost say Cody carried the match because, like you said, Solo is not an exciting person.
JD stumbles and is
He's
fighting
not
back
somebody
somehow.
that you're. Oh my god, because he's got he's power and he's mean. Okay, so but he's not much in the way of personality as far as watching him goes. You know, um, I will say Cody proves once again to me that like when he went out to the ring, the way he takes time to greet the audience members and stuff. I love that about him. That he is honestly, truly having fun every time he steps out from behind the barrier. You know that he starts heading toward the stage. He is excited and enjoying like hell what he's doing, and you can see it on his face. And I know the heels aren't necessarily supposed to do that, but sometimes you wonder, are these guys having fun or just doing the paycheck? Cody's flat out having fun. He did say at the after show that Pharaoh will probably not see Pharaoh very much because Pharaoh is 14 years old.
No, you're gonna see.
So
I love what he said about the other guy, but you see more of my understudy dog, like the one that he calls him a jobber.
Yeah, the jobber. Yeah,
Yeah.
which is this little itty bitty dog. It's like okay, we're gonna go from Big Pharaoh to this toy. All right, this will be cool. And he's already been making the rounds on the internet too, on Twitter. So yeah, but I hope they keep Pharaoh in the game because I have Pharaoh as my manager for WW2K24. Hey, he's a kick-ass manager. He knows all the, you know. So yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed the match. I thought, like we've said, the whole pay-per-view was very well done. So yeah, and I personally enjoyed the way it ended because I like it whenever Solo gets beat.
Yeah, yeah, no, that was freaking hilarious. But no, look, Cody, he's enjoying riding the being on the top at the moment, and you know, handled himself well too at the post press conference as well. Um, but man, it was he's looking forward to the future and future challenges, and he knows Roman's also in front of him for a third match. But look, it was a great way to end the pay per view, and uh, really essentially that match was all about the return of Roman Reigns. There'd been speculation and rumors running rampant leading in. Was he returning at SummerSlam? Was he returning at SummerSlam? We got our answer. Um, to the biggest and loudest and most thunderous reaction I think we've seen for somebody in a long, 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 long time. I was so overjoyed for him having that moment as well, and I think now
And that had to feel good for him too, because the
yeah,
last few times he'd been out before that, the response had been less than
exactly,
monumental
and
because
he
people
probably
were, yay, he's coming out. We're glad to see him. He's a champion. But there was also that Roman drain that,
and
oh
not just
God.
that, he this is his first time back as a baby face too
Yeah.
in over four, nearly five, getting up to 5 years. And he probably remembers when he was a baby face and with Vince pushing and shoving him down everybody's throats, the piss poor reactions that he was getting. And to finally get that reaction for the first time ever as a baby face, a natural reaction like that must have made him feel good. Like, we've finally done it. We've finally done it, you know. And it's been allowed to happen naturally. And I think he'll continue to get solid reactions like that moving forward because, as I said, the fans had some months to miss him. Everybody, of course, knows about his health that he deals with as well. I mean that's a little bit beneficial and plays into it, but they want to see the big badass tribal chief. They don't want to see him change. They just want to see this big badass tribal chief. And instead of aiming all his stuff at the baby faces, he's now aiming up at all the heels. As I said, you don't have to change these people too much. Fans fall in love with them for them, and that's why I don't want to see, Roman. You don't have to change Roman's character at all. You keep that angry, sort of snarling look on his face and still have him as a baby
Yeah.
face.
But now he can take it out on the heels.
Exactly. Exactly. Vince had Roman wearing contact lenses. Like, what the fuck was that? Yeah, exactly. Because they were making his eyes, what, bright blue or whatever it was. I'm like, what the hell? Uh, Can't wait to see Tamatonga and Finn Balor cross part. Yeah, those two credit. Yeah, exactly. And Cody alluded to that on the SmackDown. If you remember, he's like, me and you, Tama. A lot of people might not know. Me and you, Tamatonga, have got a lot of history. Because of their time together in the Bullet Club as well. So, um, man, there's a lot of good little feuds that can play off out of this. And man, it's a great time for them at the moment. They've got a lot of good problems of having a lot of top guys and gals to work with. Like Triple H said at the press conference, there was a star that was born and created the other night at SummerSlam in Bron Breakker. So he's another one that's coming up and there. You still got Dragunov there that I think they'll build up, and they've got a talented roster right now. They've just also signed. I haven't seen a debut yet on the main roster in that Julia from Stardom and Mexico fame, and that she's been signed. So another high quality international women's talent. There is another. um, talented Australian female too. That's nearly as brutal as Rhea Ripley. That they've signed as well. Uh, so they're continuing to bring more and more people in. I know Triple
Yep.
H at the press conference too touched on the partnership with TNA. He said, "Look, we're open for business," essentially saying we're willing to work with anybody and look at how it benefits us and benefits them, and the talent swaps and stuff like that. I still will put out that I don't think they'll ever team with AEW. Why would you waste your time? Uh, but New Japan could be option. Mexico promotions could be options. Um, any European promotion. So they're open for business in that sense. So I think TNA is just the start of it, but they're already seeing the benefits from that. So he's willing to. They're clearly willing to work with whoever. I'd love to see them work with New Japan. I really would. There's a lot of interconnected feuds there that you could do, and by working with New Japan, um, you could use Bullet Club finally because you'd be getting the okay with them because you're working with them and stuff like that. So there's that too, and I think it's a long time coming. They've had a lot of talent from New Japan over the years, especially more so now that have come through there. As I said, Tungaloa, Tamatonga, AJ Styles, Cody Rhodes, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, Finn Balor. Just to name a few. Sorry, can't forget Paul's boy Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yep. We haven't seen Shinsei in a while either.
No, I don't know if what's going on there, if he's been injured or not, but yeah, I know a few. No, maybe he's over was doing the K1 maybe because they had Josh Briggs from NXT. He was over doing the K1 representing WWE. There was another couple from WWE that was over there for the K1 in Japan. So maybe Shinsuke's over there. They got him doing something over there at the moment because they just haven't had anything for him, on the main roster. But see, this is the Triple H era where they're allowing him to go wrestle in other promotions.
Which
Whether
is good because that gives them a little more
Yeah,
flexibility instead of trying to squeeze everybody into storylines all the time.
yeah,
By the way,
exactly.
this may be the last single day SummerSlam, according to Triple H.
Yeah, yeah, he's talked it
Yeah.
because he got asked the question, is there going to be more PLEs? And he said, "Oh, let's not get too ahead of ourselves." But you know, we definitely know as of 2026 SummerSlam terms in it. We don't know about 2025 yet. He hasn't really stated if that's going to be a two-nighter yet or not, but we know 2026 definitely is, and a future one in Indianapolis is definitely as well. So, yeah, I
And
think
then
next
and
year,
next month NXT moves to the CW, correct?
yep, SmackDown, I think this week moves to USA. And then we got Raw moving to Netflix in January, I believe it is.
Raw and the PLEs are moving to January and to Netflix in January.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, next month, and then one of them goes to CW or whatever it is now. Yeah,
yeah.
so
That's NXT. Yeah.
NXT. So yeah,
Oh, there you go. Yobi says he wrestled for another promotion last month. Plus, he stated a while back he ain't leaving WWE anytime soon. Yeah, yeah. I remember him wrestling. I think he went back to Japan, um, to wrestle. But that's good. If they had nothing storyline wise to do with him on the main roster, why not send him over there? Because you can utilize Shinsuke as a bridge between you and those Japanese promotions, especially New Japan. So, and may as well let him go over there and do that K1 and a bunch of the other tournaments over there. Yeah, it says he's happy with the role and happy to build up new guys. Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's at that age too. He's well and truly in his 40s. He's had a heck of a career. He's been a multiple-time world champion and other different titles he won in New Japan. He's essentially been a main eventer in WWE and apart from the top two titles, won every single other title known imaginable. Pretty sure he was an NXT champion as well at some point. So
I gotta
he's
say,
done it all, really.
Him and Ron Killings both are like they don't age.
Oh no,
It's like,
Look, Ron Killings, man. Like R-Truth, if he's not 50 already, he's got to be damn well close. But he don't look his age. He certainly doesn't move in that ring like somebody of that age. Um, they preserved themselves so well. Shinsuke's flexibility, like there's a lot of people that get up to his age that wouldn't have that flexibility anymore. And he keeps himself like a rubber band. I'm telling you, the man's just brilliant. But I think it's because of him a lot of these
so
New
yeah,
Japan
Ron is
talent are coming
52.
across. There you go, 52. There you go. I had a feeling he was there. I had a feeling he
Yeah.
was close. Certainly doesn't look it. Jericho looks his age though when he's 50. Yeah, bloody R-Truth, man. You can't tell, man. Um, what does Trin say? Black don't crack or something like that. Something like that. Black don't crack. So, hey, look, there's truth to that line. Yobi, if that's the saying, back me up on that. That look, true. I mean, look. Rock's what half black himself, and
Yeah.
Rock don't look his age, either. You know, and Nakamura's 44. So yeah, there you go, mid 40s.
Still, he doesn't look it. I mean, most of
No,
the great
even
wrestlers
see,
by
I
the
mean,
time
you
they're in their
can't.
mid 40s.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
going to say, I suppose you can't really see her and say it's a black thing either, because a lot of Asians age very gracefully too. Yeah, Yobi said black don't crack.
Yeah.
But Asians
Eh,
age pretty gracefully too, and so do like Hawaiians and a lot of
Yep.
island nations as well, Samoans, etc., etc.
Some of us Italians do too. I just got to throw that out there.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, Nakamura don't look his age either. It doesn't move like his age either. But the main thing is he's happy in his role and he's happy doing what he's doing, and he's a
Yep.
spokesperson for WWE in Japan, and I think he plays a big part in a lot of these guys and gals that are coming from New Japan or Stardom, any promotion in Japan coming across to WWE, because he's in their ears telling them how good it is and such. They did miss out on one of his friends, and he did try his best to convince him to come to WWE in the Rainmaker, but the Rainmaker decided that AEW was the place for him. But I can't say that Shinsuke didn't try, because he was trying his hardest. They were talking a lot, and he was definitely in his ears. But yeah, obviously the money kind of talked. I guess I suppose that's the only thing that Tony can do over there is throw money. But yeah, it's no, it was again, man. It was a great pay per view. I gave it a solid A. What about you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would, for me, probably about an A minus, B plus.
yeah, yeah. I think they're about thereabouts, man. Definitely one of the better SummerSlams in a while, and
That I will say, yeah, it was much
yeah,
better than last year's.
yes, yeah, it was top to bottom, as I said. There wasn't too much to pick apart.
No, if I remember last year, I had trouble watching some parts of it without looking at going, oh my God, come on, let's go. Next.
That's another female. Yeah, Stephanie Vicur. Yeah, she's coming into. Yeah, she's nuts. She's crazy. Yeah, that's what I mean. These talented girls that they're coming, her and Julia and there's other Australian chicks that's coming in as well. Three.
By the way,
Yeah.
I don't want to be that guy, but I don't like watching Tiffy. Okay. I'm sorry.
Different time.
It's wrestling. I guess she's okay, but every time she starts to talk, I just want to, yeah, no. I'm just no. Yeah.
Oh, she's good. I like her because she's yeah, I think she's got a little bit more work to do talking wise, but in between those
Well, I
ropes,
think part of
she's
it is just the character she's portraying is like somebody that I would just want to like, just
yeah,
please
yeah.
shut up. You
But
know?
in between those ropes, she is very, very
Yeah.
talented. I agree with what
Yep.
Nia Jax described her as at the post show conference. She said that she's lightning in a bottle. She really is. She's that Tiffy Salt, as I call it, or I'm sure there's another name for it, but she does that so effortlessly. But like, no, she's very good in that ring, especially for someone that. What did I say? She's only like 22 or something like
Yeah,
that.
she's very young. Yeah.
But she's extremely talented for such a young age. So she's got a long career. As I said, once her mic skills catch up a bit more, and I don't think she'll be playing this type of, um, you
I
know.
think part of it's the character, the vapid, blonde,
Well, yeah, I don't think she'll be playing this princessy type character type
Mhm.
thing for like a whole career. I think you'll see, obviously, like any of the females, they change it up and stuff like that. Uh, but yeah, Sol Ruka Kalani, yeah, again, fantastic.
Yep.
That's why I love
And I
NXT
also,
for them.
I really hope they don't get into every week she's going to act like she's going to cash in that stupid. Let's not do what they did with what's his name. Yeah,
Ah, okay,
yeah,
yeah, I was close. She's 25, 25, yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, Sol Ruka Kalani, yeah, they got some women, bro, coming up. They got some women, Yobi.
yeah.
Um,
They finally and we've said that on other shows before. They have their female roster is getting very strong.
yeah, I do too with Pete Dunne, Yobi. He needs his time to shine. He is legit. Like the guy's just he's just a terror. He's just an absolute terror. And that I've got the name mixed up too. Talk about terror. Um, that's the name being given to Priest and Rhea. They call them the Terror Twin.
Ah,
Yeah. And
I could see that.
yeah, they got a bit of revenge tonight. Only a little bit, only a little snippet of revenge
I
tonight.
actually forgot to. I was busy trying to line up my stuff because somebody's going to Chicago in like 10 days for Fan Expo. Hopefully, if I can
Ooh,
get it all worked
nice.
out. So
Go get some Chicago deep dish pizza, bro. Uh, but no, like yeah,
always.
they got a little bit of a taste tonight of revenge on them. Um, I think JD Madonna popped at the worst. Little garden gnome. But Pete Dunne and Brock Lesnar would be insane. That would be insane because I know Pete's not the biggest of guys, but he's very brutal. So yeah,
Do you ever think we're going to see Brock coming back though, given what he's embroiled in? You know.
not. I either think it never happens or it's going to be a long time
Yeah.
before we see him again because they're not going to want to touch him with a 10-foot pole until
Until all this legal stuff is,
yeah,
yeah.
until it's safe in the sense
Yeah.
of there's going to be no backlash. There's going to be nothing coming back on them. Why you're promoting this guy when he's part of Vince's, inner
Right.
circle, deviant stuff, like yeah. So if he can clear his name of any wrongdoings and stuff like that in this, then the doors clearly would be open. Until such time, that door's shut at the moment. So
Right.
again, and I'll steal a line from Triple H. You never say never, but it'll yeah. Hopefully, it doesn't take too long because the man's not getting any younger.
Right.
And I know he has already said he's loving being back home on his. He loves being out there. He doesn't need WWE payday. He doesn't. He's a self-made man. He's rich as hell. Um, he loves being out on his farm, and he also enjoys taking in his kids' accomplishments, especially his daughter, who's been doing really well. So he's loving that
Yeah.
life right now. As I said, he's made plenty of money from wrestling and UFC. It's not like he needs it, but
He doesn't, but I'm sure part of him wants to be there at the same time.
yeah,
But
yeah,
but right now any,
He can't do
any
anything
like,
right now.
and
His
Yobi
hands are
said he's
tied.
actually still under contract, but any promotion that takes him is going to be taking his baggage when they take him right now. And right now, I think his
Yeah,
baggage is just too big to deal with. You
yeah,
know,
yeah. That he is still under contract, but yeah, this process obviously is dragging out. So it's all going to depend on how long this all takes and if his name gets cleared. Because if his name doesn't get cleared, then the contract's just going to run out, and that'll be. Um, if he clears his name, then as I said, you never say never. So it's really a flip of the coin right now. It's anyone's guess. It's just a wait and see process. The more interesting thing, just before we head on out of here, is this Shane Brandon stuff, because that's apparently what he's going to go by in AEW. Shane Brandon. Yeah, because really everybody's going to not know that you're a McMahon. What he,
just because he looks like his dad. Yeah, who's going to notice?
yeah.
You know.
What exactly is he going to be doing? Is he going to be an on-air talent? Is he going to be an executive backstage that takes the weight off Tony's shoulders? We don't know. We know they had a meeting that's circulated everywhere, so it'll be interesting to see. The big talking point of anything is just that there's a McMahon a part of a promotion that's not WWE. So
And for a while, we were wondering if he was going to go back to WWE.
Yobi's having a laugh. Shane Brandon, yeah, that's the name that's circulating. Is apparently Shane Brandon. I turned around and had a laugh. Said I might as well just call him Mac Daddy McShane or something like that. Mac Daddy McShane, Linda's son. That's what I said. They
Yeah.
call him. Excuse me. Give him something ridiculous. But Shane Brandon, yeah. I don't know. Maybe Brandon's is. I don't know. Bothered to look it up, but yeah. I'm like.
By the way, he's 54 as well. So
The thing is they're either doing it so he wants to like just distance himself from the name at the moment because of his dad's legal trouble. Otherwise, McMahon is his legally binding name, so there's no reason he can't use Shane McMahon.
his dad copyrighted his name at birth. Sorry, I own that.
Dear. No, you know, hey, you know, now that you've said it, who freaking knows? Maybe they have. And he can't use it outside of that. But if anything, I think WWE maybe have copyrighted the Shane O'Mac nickname. But yeah, I don't know how they'd go about copyrighting someone's legitimate last name. I don't know, but hey, it was Vince, isn't it? So we don't know. But I just want to see right now and find out right now what capacity this thing with AEW is. Hopefully soon we'll see the debut of Mac Daddy McShane, Linda's son. That's what I'll be calling him. Yeah, that way he can completely distance himself from Vince. He'll be like, who's this Linda's son? Who's this guy? But yeah, I don't know what theme song he'll come out with. Obviously, they'll have to make a new one because he won't be able to use the one he had in WWE. But unless Shane paid for it, that'd be the only way. Sort of like Adam paid for his, but
well, you know, and that makes you wonder how much would like the guys at WWE who actually do still respect Shane, you know, that will say, hey, you know, give us this much, and you can have your song or whatever, you know.
Yeah, I mean the song's kind of synonymous with him, you know. So it would be cool to hear that particular song, just you know, like it was cool to hear Adam Copeland's song when he was known as Edge, you know, because it was recognised as soon as it hit. You're like, we know who this is.
I'm actually surprised because I'm looking at his Wikipedia right now. His contract with WWE ended in June,
Okay.
but there's no update to show his AEW involvement, which surprises me because usually, you know, Wikipedia, they're pretty much right on top of that shit. You know?
No, we just know that it's been reported on, and then the picture was taken of him and Tony
Yep.
in a boardroom. So yeah, we'll have to see how that plays out. So
Of course,
that's
that picture might have been all of, okay, now send it to my dad because it'll really fucking piss him off. You know?
oh yeah, geez, I'm telling you, Vince has got to be stewing over that, you know. But yeah, I kind of hope that it's a bit of both. Like, if he still wants to have a couple of matches here and there, that's fine. But I do hope it's more of a he's going to be running the shows or something like that. Like, I've seen plenty of fan suggestions of um, shift Tony over to running Collision and let Shane run the main show of Dynamite.
Yep.
Uh,
And let Shane kind of oversee the pay-per-views as well.
yeah, yeah. I mean, they could both be there, but let Shane have majority
Let
control.
Shane run the stories. Let Shane
Yeah,
tell the story. Yeah.
yeah. You know, this is, as I said, this is what I've been sort of waiting for Tony to hire someone with some really great knowledge in that and let them, you know, give them that power.
Yeah, I was going to say Tony needs to be willing to listen. That's the
Yeah.
other part. Well, I
Um,
hired him, but I'm not going to listen to a word he says. Okay. Well,
yeah, well, I think he might want to in this case because Shane could really benefit him. You know, he's been around the business that long. He knows what works and what doesn't work. So, fingers crossed it works out for the best and we actually start seeing the turnaround of that product because that product, for a while now, has, apart from some really great matches here and there, just been a snooze fest. It's just been nothing really. MJF being back kind of saves it a bit, you know, because you know he's loud, he's boisterous, he can tell his story and that. But apart from that, it's just yeah, you know, there's no real storylines going on, no real continuity. Um, so this could be what exactly the injection that they needed. So we'll see, we'll see. But that's all we got for you today, folks. Uh, did a good show. Managed to get 2 hours, considering I'm still not that well at all. Fighting this damn freaking COVID bug, trying to shake it. But I felt at least well enough tonight to be able to have a good conversation with my brother here on a fantastic pay per view, which I appreciate each and every one of you in chat that's joined us tonight from the Rockin' One Rockin' Out with us. The legendary one himself, Mr. Peace, Love, Life, Yobi-san, who got an amazing gift. Of course, shout out to the brother Steel Rain, amazing gift from Steel, with a personal touch, which was very, very lovely to see for this man, this great man in this community and a friend of a lot of ours. Of course, PK, my brother from another as well. Great to see him stop by. Miss seeing his face, as well as we had Rourke join us as he always does, the great man himself. Dreadpool, my brother with the mythical beard. Always great to see you and appreciate your support, brother, as well. Of course, all the lurkers lurking about. Absolutely privileged to have you join us. But apart from that, fantastic show. It was awesome to talk to my co-host tonight about this pay-per-view. And Paul, did you want to let these fine folks know where they can find you, brother?
I'm in Witsec now, so you can't find me anywhere. No, I'm kidding. Uh, you can find me on Twitter or X, formerly Twitter, at Cerebral Paul One. You can find me at Twitch at Cerebral Paul. And of course, Mondays and Thursdays, you can find me on Twitch here on the 4GQ TV channel for this show, Pop Up Powerbomb, and Thursday's show, the 4GQ TV podcast. On Tuesdays, you can find me with the rascals over there at Retro Renegades. And on Wednesdays, you can find me on my show on the Xbox Ambassador channel, Gaming Differently with Cerebral Paul, 1:30 p.m. Pacific, 4:30 p.m. Eastern. And then on Fridays, you can find me Shit with Wise. And in on the 16th through the 18th, I will be in Chicago at at Fan Expo Chicago. So if you're going to be in the area, let me know and we will try to hook up during the Fan Expo and say hi.
And shout him some Chicago deep dish pizza. That's a must.
And definitely going to be doing some of that and some Italian some Italian beef as well.
Woo,
So
nice. I like it.
yeah.
And cheers, Jamie, brother. Oh man, yeah, never good to deal with this. I know my brother Carlo also had it. I don't know if he's still got a bit of it. He had it recently to himself, and yeah, it's just unfortunately you go out and about and you can catch it anywhere. So and I think it was about Thursday,
Yeah,
Friday.
hopefully I don't bring it back with me from Chicago. They can keep that stuff.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was doing so well too, and then yeah, I went out to the mall. What was it Thursday or Friday? And it was following morning. I woke up. I'm like, what the
Well,
fuck,
well, you're probably not going to feel it that fast. You probably got it actually earlier than that. Like you said, you probably picked it up at the courthouse. I would bet you probably picked it up at the
Probably
courthouse.
there too. Yeah, yeah, and then yeah, I woke up and I'm just like, oh man, head feeling like a bowling ball and couldn't open your eyes, you're so sore and body aches and pain and coughing, which you could probably hear me cough tonight. Which also doesn't help because I suffer with asthma too. But I'm fighting it, keeping all my fluids up and that, and still got a lot
Do you
of
have
aches and
do
pain.
you have test kits there so you can test yourself?
Yeah, yeah, I still tested myself just before the show, and I'm still coming up positive at the moment. So
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah. No, this time around, and this is my third time ever of having it. This has to be the worst I've had it with the symptoms I've had. Um, I I haven't eaten anything since Thursday. I've just been drinking water and sipping on tea. I haven't felt hungry or that I could able to stomach anything.
remember
And
you got to eat something. Your body needs that energy. So even if it doesn't
yeah,
taste like
yeah.
anything,
I've
yeah,
been thinking about just eating some dry toast just to soak up the ickiness and stuff, that I'm feeling like. But oh, I, I I say it all the time. I don't wish anybody to have this,
well,
especially the worst
if you can't
driving.
taste anything, eat shit you normally don't like. Then when people go, "Oh, you should try it," and you go, "Well, I did. I tried it. Didn't taste like
Yeah,
anything." So yeah,
yeah, I should actually, because like I was thinking about it the other day. I don't like squash, right, or cantaloupe, right? So I thought maybe I
yeah,
should go eat that because I'm not going to taste.
yeah. And
I'm not
actually,
a
cantaloupe's really good for you too. So
I'm not a Brussels sprouts guy either, so I might
oh, I
try and
love
eat them.
Brussels sprouts, dude. Those are
Yeah,
really good.
I'll go eat some Brussels sprout. What does that taste like? Tastes like
Well,
nothing.
see, you know
Yeah,
what? You if you do this now, you can get your kids. Look, Daddy's going to eat it. You can eat it. Okay, there you go. You
yeah,
know,
and then they go and eat it
just
and
don't
can
tell them
actually
you
taste
can't taste it. Just don't tell them you can't taste it.
I'll get the old response. It tastes like crap. I'm smothering it in tomato sauce or ketchup. Oh, now you're ruining it. No. But no, thank you again, everybody. And of course, you find me at the Moon Man on X there, and of course on Steam or Xbox app there. Otherwise, you find me here most Mondays when I haven't got COVID or haven't got anything to do personal wise for the pop up power bomb with the cerebral one himself, where we talk all things wrestling. Of course, generally every Wednesday evening as well here on the 4GQ TV channel for the Backlog Bastards with the one and only Yobi San himself, where we talk all things gaming across the board. But apart from that, I hope everybody has enjoyed the show. I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their evening or day, wherever they may be in this fine world. And until next time, take it easy. Don't go outside without your mask. Good night, everybody.